Ali Riley of Angel City FC joining us next here on Futbol Americas. A star so big she gets her own tifo. Ali, how was that?
That is the most just emotional intro I've ever seen. That was an unforgettable day. And watching that, I need to score more goals. No, it's incredible. The support we have at Angel City is unparalleled. In that first game with that tifo, it was very meaningful, so special.
All right, Ali, so this isn't your first time on Futbol Americas. It's not going to be your last either. You're going to be joining us throughout the season, ahead of the World Cup, after the World Cup. We're really excited about that. Let's start with kind of where Angel City is right now in league play. 7 games in the regular season, then plus the Challenge Cup. So you're basically right now right at around 500. How do you assess so far what we've seen this season?
I think we are not happy with the results of the games, but I do think we're tracking in the right direction. Whereas last year, I felt like we had these ups and downs and we didn't necessarily find a rhythm or really establish our identity. I really feel like that is coming. It was not the result we wanted to lose at home last weekend, but this test on the road now against North Carolina, it makes it even more important. And I feel like every game in this league is competitive. The table is tight, but we want to make sure now, since we haven't gotten the wins at home, that we have to take points on the road.
Ali, Sebi mentioned the Challenge Cup. It's normally a preseason tournament, if you will. There's a big financial prize, a trophy for it, but it's jam-packed in the middle of this regular season. So how do you approach these two competitions?
It's different this season, of course, having it throughout the league, but I think having played in Europe, that's really how it is, having a domestic cup, at least one domestic cup, having played in Sweden and England and Germany. So I like it. I think it gives us a chance for rotation. I think we have some injured players coming back that are going to be huge for us. And we want to win Challenge Cup. We want to win everything. And I think last year, having it at the beginning of the season, it was so compact for us. We didn't do a lot of rotation and it affected us for the rest of the season. So I do think now we have the depth to do well in both the Challenge Cup and the league. But again, we need to get some points.
Speaking of depth, you guys added a big piece, not necessarily a depth piece, when you brought in Julie Ertz. I wonder kind of what you've seen from her, and if you can explain in soccer terms, maybe something that U.S. women's national team fans will want to know, which is how specifically does Julie Ertz make a team better?
I was so impressed with her coming in. I've played against her for many, many years. I'm pretty sure she's scored on New Zealand at least once, but she's just, for her to come in that first game, having only trained with the team, I think 1 or 2 times, and making such an immediate impact, it's just a testament to how good she is as a player, how well she knows the game tactically, how physical she is. Scoring against Portland, that was, I feel like, a Julie, I still think of her as Julie Johnston, but a Julie Ertz specialty, and that's what we're going to need. I think we are very dangerous on attacking set pieces, but we need someone who's really willing to go through a wall in order to score, and that's what she really brings for us, both offensively and defensively. And I just think if she keeps this up, and of course, as she gets to know us, the style of play, each player's tendencies, she's just going to get better and better. And I think she will be a great addition to the U.S. World Cup squad if named.
All right, let's talk about another women's national team player, Alyssa Thompson. You spoke about Julie Ertz being dangerous. Alyssa Thompson's pretty dangerous, but this is still her very first season as a pro. So maybe assess her debut as a professional, what you've seen from her.
Well, I just am overwhelmed by how much talent that player has. I think I've said before, I feel really lucky to still be playing as a 35-year-old with this 18-year-old phenom. The goals she scored, I think, shows just that she has that savvy. She is technical. She can score from a tight angle. She can score from distance. And you would never know that she's an 18-year-old by watching her play. I think she still has room to improve. And what's the most important thing is she's open to feedback. She wants to learn. And I want her to demand things from the senior players, or I guess everyone who's older than her, and not feel that she has to just learn from us, because I think the runs she makes, she should be demanding the ball from us, especially from us as fullbacks. When we're getting the ball opening up, that running behind, that's her bread and butter. And that's, I think, so terrifying as a defender in a back line to have someone with that type of speed. and ball control running at you. And just as a person, she's awesome. Her family I've been able to get to know, and I actually went to high school with her. I went to the same high school, so I spent the day with her at Harvard Westlake, and seeing her with her friends and her peers, and then how seamlessly she fits in with our team socially. I just can't say enough about her. She's a great teammate, and I am very, very happy that we drafted her.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about, because I remember being the older player, the veteran of the group, and hanging out with some of the young guys, and you really get a sense of who they are, why they are the footballers they are by being around their family or maybe experiencing what they're like outside. You experienced that. You guys did like a prom night for Alyssa Thompson. Is that right?
Yes, we did. So she missed her senior prom, and we really wanted to show up for her and make her feel special. And her boyfriend came, and we took photos, and Sid and the kids were dressed up for the game, and the fans showed up and made signs for her. And I think that we've really, really, as a community, embraced her and hopefully made her feel really, really comfortable, because it's not easy to come in as the youngest player and to have this pressure and these expectations. And we want her to be herself. We want her to be able to, of course, she's going to miss some of these milestones as a teenager, as a high school senior, but we want her to still have fun with it and be able to feel like she can do both. And that night was really, really fun. I think for all of us, it made us feel very young again.
Yeah.
The staff went all in.
Look like you guys are having a good time. Tell me a little bit about the HBO docuseries. What's it like being on the inside of that? Is it as fun as it looks?
Yeah, well, it was really cool to see it all come together after having been followed around and had this docuseries team with us for a whole season. And I think it was really hard for them to choose which footage to use. Yeah, I of course had to show my piano playing, not talent, but to have my parents in it and to just get a look at some of like Freya, and just to see players and staff, what you don't see when we're playing. And I think it's really humanizing. I think the documentary is really empowering. I think it really shows how much of an impact Angel City has made and continues to make. And I think it'll encourage a lot of people to get behind not only Angel City, but women's soccer and women's sports, and see just how we can actually change the culture and how we're trying to do it now, but where this can go in 5 or 10 years. And anytime my teammates get that chance to talk to an audience, to get that kind of coverage, I feel so proud, because this team is really made up of incredible, talented, so smart women who are doing so many different things to help make this world a better place. And I think that really, really shines through. And it's something that I'll have forever now, this documentation of that first season. So there were some ups and downs. It was emotional to see it again, but I'm glad that we did it.
The records keep on coming from you. Actually, last time we had you on, we spoke New Zealand and, the World Cup. We just didn't go into details. It was about your appearance record. Let's go into details right now. Let's talk about New Zealand's group. You've got Norway, you've got the Philippines, and you have Switzerland. Assess that group.
I think when people first hear it, they're like, okay, yeah, you guys got a group that you should be able to get out of. But I think if you look at the world stage right now and where women's soccer is going, teams are really, really competitive globally. And so I think you cannot sleep on any of these teams, just like I hope they're feeling that way about us. And we had a pretty tight result against the Philippines. I know Scotland just beat them 2-1. That's not a game that we can take lightly. Norway and Switzerland are both good European teams. Anyone that comes out of the European stage to make it to the World Cup, is good, because that is such a competitive region to come out of. So I think we really have to take these next couple of months when we're not in camp together and find a way to connect. We have to do our analysis. We have to have these conversations as a team when we have players spread out across the world, to make sure we're doing whatever is in our control to be prepared for this. And the hype of being at home, that added pressure, that's something we're going to have to make sure that we can manage as a team. But I'm just so excited. I think there's probably not a lot of expectations on us, which gives us a chance to surprise not only New Zealand, but the world. And we really want to get out of that group. We want to make such a big impact to inspire young Kiwi girls to start playing soccer, to dream big. And this could kickstart something really, really special for us. So I want us to win our first ever game at a World Cup and definitely get out of that group. But I don't think there's an easy group in this World Cup at all.
You know, to that point, how's the team's confidence? Because obviously you guys are the home team. There's going to be a huge buzz around the team. And you mentioned the pressure that goes with that. But then on top of that, I'm looking over your results over the last year and a half. There's not a ton to hang your hat on. So how do you kind of build that momentum within the group?
No, you're completely right. And that's something where I think the media, there's criticism about us and how we're doing. And we just have to keep it locked in and focus on what we can control. It's something that I feel with Angel City, with so many of the teams I've played on, but especially New Zealand, because the world is looking at us. New Zealand is looking at us, but we can't worry about what other people think. We have to clean up what we can clean up. And we did have a good result against Iceland. I think against Nigeria, we played some of our best soccer, but we let in 3 goals. We didn't score a goal. So right now our focus is really, I think, in the opposition's box and in our box is what we need to be better at. And I do think that if players are working on that in their domestic environments, that is something you can improve, because it's kind of about it's a mentality. As a defender, you have to be able to block shots. You have to track runners in the box. As a forward, you can be working on your technique, working on being able to get a shot off very, very quickly. And the stuff in between the boxes is what's harder to work on when you're not together, because that's so much of the tactics and the relationship. So I have to be confident and positive. Of course, I believe in this team, and there's not much you can do when you don't have another camp until the build-up. But the players who aren't in season right now are together, working out in New Zealand, and then the rest of us will join when we are permitted from our various leagues.
Ali Riley, Angel City FC and the New Zealand women's national team. As always, great to have you here on Futbol Americas, and good luck Saturday against North Carolina.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.